Well, go on, traders. Yeah, the traders here again. All right, so before we get into stock, the big question everyone is asking is Mullen to be delisted, sorry, or was it delisted? All right, so before I get into the actual stock, let's take a quick peek as to what news information was available. So if you look at Google search and look for delisting, as you can see here, the first thing that pops up, it says Mullen is continuing its efforts to bring the stock price above the minimum $1 bid requirements before March 6th deadline. Um, the other question is Mullen getting delisted? And that was, everyone knows that the day March 6th is the deadline for possible delisting of Mullen on the NASDAQ, and June 23rd for the Russell. So the other question would be, if your stock gets delisted, what happens? So what happens to your shares if it get delisted? So it says if a company is delisted, you're still a shareholder to the extent of the number of shares held, and yet you cannot sell those shares on any exchange. However, you can still sell it on the over-the-counter market. That's the OTC market. All right, so the big question right now is Mullen delisted? So one way to figure that out is by actually looking at the stock. So if we look and see, is the stock trading on the NASDAQ today? So what I'm showing on the screen here is the NASDAQ with Mullen stock. So if at this level you can't really see if the stock is being actively traded. But if I zoom in to, for example, the 5-minute chart, you can see that this was Friday, this was aftermarket, and this from here where you see those broken lines, this is pre-market. And as you can see, the stock is trading currently on the deadline March 6th. So the question now is it the end of the March 6th, or it needed to be the extension needed to be requested by March 6th? That's the only question I have, guys. So if I look back at the news here and I look at Investor Place, it was saying at that time that dear Mullen stock fans, mark your calendars for March 6th. So March 6th is the deadline for Mullen Automotive stock to reach $1 for 10 consecutive days. And they may apply for a 100 calendar day extension, would push the deadline to September 6th. So if you look at that, it doesn't really say by or on the day. But if you scroll down, I think, trying to see where, okay, so it says if it does do the extension, it does not enhance the reverse split. If you look at this line here, it said at the time that Mullen had stated that it will enact a reverse split if Mullen does not reach the $1 by September 6th. So when it says by September 6th, I'm assuming it also means it needed to reach the $1 mark by March 6th. So we are currently in the deadline, I'm thinking. That's my thought. In the comments you can let me know what your thoughts are. But so far, guys, as I said, this stock is high risk, and chances are, who knows, high rewards. But so far, as you can see, Mullen has popped up since pre-market. It has run up since not run up. I'm not pumping the stock. It has gone up since pre-market. And if you take a look at Yahoo Finance again, as you can see here, on Friday, it it was up 2.5%. Currently, it's up almost 4.5% pre-market. In terms of the market cap, there was not much of a sell-off. I think we're around this level, between 380, 400 up to Friday. That level up to Thursday, Friday, thereabout. So there was no real sell-off, guys. Volume that came in was below average. And if you do comparisons to the general market, the TSX is 1.2%, S&P 1.6%, the Dow 1.7% up. Comes to other stocks, Fisker up 3%, Lucid up almost 5%, NEO up above 5%, Xpeng up above 3%. So the market overall on Friday wasn't too bad, guys. But our focus here on Mullen appears to be doing what it needs to do, as I usually say. And all we needed was for good news. So I guess at this stage, no bad news is good news, because there's no PR. David is not saying anything. So I guess no bad news is good news for us. And remember, by tomorrow you need to mark your calendar, guys, because tomorrow is the truck day event with Bollinger Motors. So far, as I'm looking at the chart here, Mullen is holding its own. It has popped up above the moving average, the blue moving average line. What we want to see now is for the yellow moving average line to cross above the blue, and then that would be a very bullish sign, because here we had the crossover there again. So these are quite bullish signs, and it's looking like it's heading to cross over the blue moving average line. And these moving averages are you have the slow moving average line and you have the fast moving average line, but they are all indicators of the stock movement. RSI is was oversold. It is now at the midpoint in terms of overbought, oversold. It's at the midpoint. And MACD is still looking a little bit bearish. You have some red signals there. Still looking a little bit bearish. But overall, it looks bullish so far. And hopefully, with the news by tomorrow, we'll see if the stock will get a pop up. In terms of the options that came in was quite low. I think a lot of buying went on before. 21,000 calls up to Friday. March 10th, 11,000. March 26th, the 17th of March, 26,000, sorry. And March the 24th, 10,000. But if you look out further for next year, January, let's look at the call options. So it's about the same as we saw last week, 71,000 at 50 cents and 81,000 at a dollar call options. So there's high demand for calls at that time. But so far, guys, this is kind of what we have. I did a lot of scouring, searching the news, see if we got any updates from Mullen, from David, in terms of any news on the delisting. Did they submit that application? I got really nothing. But based on the stock action so far this morning, it seems like they may have sent the application in for the extension, because the stock is still active on the NASDAQ. All right, so let's keep an eye out for the rest of the day and for tomorrow, and hopefully despite no PR, you should get even by tomorrow some good news with regards to that showcase for truck day. All right, guys, so as usual, if you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Take care, guys.